So you started off in golf, obviously. You had a really successful career in NCAA. I want to know what happened after NCAA and like kind of your journey to go for professional golf.
I mean, I think just like any other sport, I mean, I'm assuming it's like after college, it's either you stop your sport or you go professional, right? And then for me, I knew I always wanted to play professionally. So that was what I geared towards. So as soon as I graduated, that was what I did. I just trained harder. But what was so hard is that suddenly, you know, college takes care of you. Like I was on full scholarship, so it was like I had Nike gear, like I had clubs at a discount, I had a practice facility, I had all these awesome things. Right. And that was the scariest part, I feel like, about graduating, because I was like, what do I wear? Like, what do I, I'm literally rocking my college gear at like my professional tournaments. I'm like, clearly sponsor me, like, hey, I'm still wearing my F-bomb, like, call me, like, sponsor me. So with golf, different than other sports like baseball or football, like you may get a call, like you get a recruiter, right? When you turn professional, it's all on you. So you call it, like you say, I want to be a professional, then as long as you have the money and you have the game, you can go be professional. You have to front your own tournament entry fee. You have to front your club fees. You need to front your caddy fees, front your travel fees, front it all. And that's the hardest part, and that's why a lot of golf careers end, because you don't make enough money compared to what you win.
So how much are the fees, like a typical range? Entry fee and caddy fee?
Yeah, so...
There's a caddy fee, of course.
Yeah, totally.
Of course there is.
In golf, it's kind of like baseball. There's a minor league, a middle league, and a major league. I got to the middle leagues, and I was trying to obviously shoot for the major leagues, but then I changed careers there. So, but the smaller the league, the less money, the bigger league, more money, right? Entry fees for the league that I was in, starting out, the minor leagues, it's called mini tours. It could range between $300 or $700 for one tournament. What? Okay, one tournament, and then this tour was based in Arizona, so not too far from me. It was just a drive away, but there are people who like come from Canada just for this tour, people who come from central United States, and they gotta pay to stay somewhere. And then once you get there, you gotta pay for your food, you gotta pay for a stay, and usually we just try and scramble and like ask like our family, like, do you know anyone that lives in Scottsdale to give me stay at their place? Yeah. It's like, if you need to prep, you need to do a practice round, and then 3 to 4 days of tournament. So you're there for like a whole week. And then
a whole week.
Right.
We're looking at grands here.
Yes. No,
and that's just one tournament, right?
That is one tournament, and
how many are in a tour? Is that how that works?
Yeah. Okay. So it's up to you. So golf is all year round. So there's always a tournament if you want one. I graduated in 2015. I turned officially pro end of that year. So 2016 was my first full year. I think I played 18 events. So that's 18 full weeks. Spaced out. And I did rather well, I feel like, on a mini tour. So what's crazy is for the tour that I was on, they paid out 50% of the field. So if you made top half, you got money. I was, I think, top 5 on the money list for that specific tour. For the entire year of 18 events, I was up in cash maybe $3,000. And at that time I thought, oh, I'm balling. Like I'm doing great. I'm like, dang, I'm doing great. Like this is great, you know? But when you think of it, with that $3,000-$4,000, if let's say I just didn't play well for 3 events, that's gone. That means that I was placed in top 5 almost every event. And so first place was only at that time, it's a little more now, $2,000. $2,000 to $2,500 for first place, okay? And then I'm putting out over $1,000 just to play one, if I'm counting all my expenses. So if I came second, I'm breaking even.
That's stressful.
That is really stressful, because now you're playing for your job. Was there ever a time you wanted to quit, and then how did you stay mentally strong through when you were, going for the LPGA?
I mean, I think golf is, they always say it's like one of the hardest mental sports, because like for you guys, you have a performance, right, that you just gotta like throw all your adrenaline in for like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, however long it is. For us, it's 4.5 hours of feeling like you are on. There are moments where I'm like playing in a tournament, I'm shooting my low, and then the last hole I like throw it in the water. It just mentally makes me want to give up and quit. 100%, every pro has thought about quitting. I mean, I ended up stopping eventually because that's how I got into the media career, but while I was competing, I got through the tough times because I had to remind myself why I worked so hard. Okay, like, do I still love this sport? Like, yes, I do. Do I think I can make it? Yes, I feel like I still can. And so I'd have to keep on rechecking myself and making sure that that's what I really wanted. And there were times when even my parents would doubt me. And like, your parents are your people.
Yeah.
And when they're like, I don't know, dude, is this way? You don't want to be a nurse? I'm like, no, I don't want to be a nurse, Mom. I felt like I was always mentally tough through those times, so it was easy to self-talk my way out. But then there was a time during my professional career, and in 2017 I went through like a really hard time internally and like emotionally, trying to figure myself out outside of golf. What is my identity and more things and family, and that was when I was like, man, like I think I'm not happy. Like I need to step away from this sport so I can take care of myself. You know, I had to be realistic with myself at that point, and I said, do you still love the sport? I'm like, yes. Can you still work in the sport and do something different? I'm like, I think I can. Like, do you think you could be number one? And at the time I was like, I don't think I can anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna be number one. And if I'm not gonna be number one at something, then I'm gonna be number one at something else. And that's when I was like really, really real with myself. And it was okay. And that was the hardest part. It felt like I lost myself. I lost my identity. And I feel like every athlete goes through that, college athlete coming out. Like, and it's the scariest feeling. It's like if you're a gymnast your whole life and suddenly you're like, what am I?
Yeah.
But like, I think what was really cool about what I eventually did was I just made my dream a reality. My job didn't exist at the time. Like, no one said, hey, I'm gonna study to be an influencer or a golf media person. Like, that didn't exist. And it just kind of grew with the times, and I was like, oh my gosh, this could be a job.
Yeah.
Like, I can make golf look cool and get paid for it. That's awesome. And
that's so cool.
And then that's kind of just how it happened. Timing happened, and then I literally just kind of came in the perfect time slot.
If you guys have not checked out her videos, you need to check them out because she does some.
And then we gave you
like,
a snippet.
She does some really cool tricks.
I want to go back to like the moment when you're like shaking because you're like, okay, this whole. How do you calm yourself down then? Because you said when your hands start shaking, like what do you do? Because you know it's over if your hands are shaking. So what do you do to like reset that?
So in golf, I had a physical trainer, I had a trainer that helped me with like injuries, I had a coach, and then I had a mental coach. One of the biggest things that you deal with when you are nervous, no matter what it is in life, you could be going up for a big interview, you could be just nervous about anything. It's all about your breathing. And so that's what I would do when in the toughest of times. It's an exercise that I've learned. So whenever you start panicking, you start breathing with your chest. So when you breathe in, your chest expands. That's a panic kind of breath. That's a nervous kind of breath. So you need to reverse it and breathe from your stomach or your diaphragm. So when you breathe in, expand your tummy.
I'm doing it right now.
So So when you breathe in, you want to expand your tummy, breathe out, do the opposite. So when you go to sleep, that is how you breathe naturally, and that's why your heart rate is at its lowest when you're sleeping. So you want to be able to replicate that kind of breath in the most anxious of times. And if you just really hone in and like close your eyes, and what my mental coach at the time always told me was do that 10 times before the most stressful time. So I'd always do it before the first tee. That's when people are watching. You know, you feel like your first tee shot sets the mood for the entire round. You take that breath and you lower your heart rate as much as possible before the moment you hit your shot, and that's really it. It was all about breathing. I mean, singers do it, actors do it, you know. Yeah. So that was the way I handled it in that moment.
How do you deal with temperature? Because you have so
like I would be so stressed in heat. Like I would be like
in the gym, like we can put clothes on and like if you're cold, you know, you kind of can warm up a little bit. But if you're in rough weather,
like there's no escaping.
There's no escaping it.
But then when you're in tough weather, you have to also think that like you know, a lot of people come out with a negative mindset like, it's raining, my equipment is wet, my club's gonna slip out of my hand. That's real stuff. Like that happens, clubs will slip out of your hand, and you got to figure out how to manage in the rain.
Dang.
You have to realize that the whole field is dealing with the same extremity, and so in that way it's fair. However, there are moments when it's not. Like, so there'd be morning tee times and afternoon tee times, and sometimes the morning wave will get the calm weather and the second wave will get the wind, and like that's unfair. But you just deal with it.
Wow.
You just deal
I
with
like
it.
when you put that perspective in, because you realize like it's not just happening to you.
Yeah.
If I was a golfer, I'd just be like, well, they didn't get the weather, they didn't get the rain.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden, on the same day, that's not fair. Like, I could see how, you know, you can get so easily into a negative mindset.
Yeah. If you had a negative mindset, like, maybe I can't do this. Can you imagine having that mindset before you need to perform in front of everybody about, like you cannot think like that. Like, you don't have time to think like that. You're never, like, even when I'm doing trick shots, the moment I feel like, I don't think I can do this, I really can't. Like, I have to literally believe and imagine the fact that I can get this ball in this, like, cup or do whatever trick I'm doing. Like, it's ridiculous, but, like, you literally have to have a mindset, like, that you won't be defeated. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it.